Hello and welcome. You're watching Express News, a show where we take you through the top news stories of the day. I'm Untitled. Let's get started. Cabinet approves proposal for leasing out Jaipur, Guwahati, Thiruvananthapuram airports through public-private partnership. Cabinet also approved fair and remunerative price of sugarcane, giving relief to 1 crore sugarcane farmers. Price decided at 285 rupees per quintal for basic recovery rate of 10%. Union Cabinet approves the setting up of National Recruitment Agency to conduct common eligibility test. This decision will benefit job-seeking youth of the country. Merit list of common entrance test will remain valid for 3 years, during which the candidate can apply for jobs in different sectors depending upon his aptitude and preferences. Union Minister Jitendra Singh on National Recruitment Agency to conduct common eligibility test has spoken. National Recruitment Agency will be an autonomous society registered under Societies Act with representatives from all 3 agencies. The Supreme Court upheld the Bihar government's recommendation to transfer the FIR lodged in Sushant Singh Rajput's death case in Patna to the CBI. The Apex Court said that Bihar government is competent to transfer the case to the CBI for investigation. Bihar DGP Gupteshwar Pandey expressed happiness at the verdict, saying the Apex Court's order has strengthened the trust of people in courts and has assured the nation that justice will be delivered in the Sushant Singh Rajput death case. Actor Sushant Singh Rajput was found hanging from the ceiling of his apartment in suburban Bandra in Mumbai on 14th June, and since then Mumbai police has been probing the case. Sushant's sister tweeted saying, "Congratulations to my extended family, so happy, first step towards victory and unbiased investigation. Hashtag Justice for Sushant Singh Rajput. Hashtag a full faith on CBI." Prime Minister Narendra Modi will announce the results of Swachh Sarvekshan 2020 on Thursday. This is the 5th edition of the annual Cleanliness Survey, and 129 awards will be handed over to the top performing cities and states. On the occasion, PM Modi will also launch the Swachh Sarvekshan 2020 results dashboard. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today addressed the top brass of the Navy on the first day of the Naval Commanders Conference. The Navy Chief also addressed the top commanders of the Navy. The 3-day conference is a biennial conference which has to be held in April but was postponed due to the pandemic. President Ramnath Kovind paid floral tributes to former President Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma on his birth anniversary at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Former President Pranab Mukherjee's health condition deteriorates. He has developed features of lung infection. He continues to be on ventilator support and is currently being managed by a team of specialists. Incessant rains lashed the national capital today, submerging low-lying areas in waist-deep water and bringing traffic on key roads to a grinding halt. The rainfall in Delhi led to heavy traffic on the roads and waterlogging in key stretches of major roads in the city. The India Met Department has predicted light to moderate intensity rain over and adjoining areas. Following the heavy rain in Delhi NCR, some of the key roads of Gurugram have been submerged, causing waterlogging. It also caused disruption of traffic. Flood situation in Bihar remains grim. Over 81 lakh spread over 1,312 panchayats and 130 blocks of 16 districts is still facing the deluge. The number of relief camps has also gone up from 7 to 12. Over 13,000 people have taken shelter in these camps. Cooked food is being provided to more than 4,20,000 people through 540 community kitchens in Bihar. 27 teams of SDRF and NDRF are engaged in rescue and relief operations in flood-affected areas. Bagmati is flowing above the danger mark in Khatonja, Hayaghat and Benibad. The river Buri Gandak in Samastipur, Rosara and Khagaria is flowing above the danger mark. The Met Department has predicted light to moderate rainfall in Bihar over the next 2 days. In Assam, life has returned to normalcy in most parts of the state as floodwaters receded considerably in the last few days. Currently, only 4 districts, namely Dhemaji, Lakhimpur, Baksa and Choraidio, are reeling under floodwater. BRAHMAPUTRA is flowing above the danger level at Nimati Ghat, Tezpur, Dikhao, Dubri, Dhansiri and Jia Parali. In Assam, with 1 person's death reported yesterday, the death toll in this current wave of floods is 130. In Kerala, the death toll in the massive landslide in Idukki district rose to 61, with 3 more bodies being recovered yesterday. A massive landslide crushed a settlement of tea estate workers in Munnar in Idukki in Kerala on the 6th of August. In Uttar Pradesh, hundreds of villages across 16 districts in eastern parts of the state are reeling under floods. Rains and water coming from upper hilly areas and Nepal have caused floods in various parts of the state. 838 villages of 16 districts are affected by floods, out of which 520 villages were inundated. The worst affected districts include Ayodhya, Barabanki, Badaun, Gonda, Gorakhpur, Kushinagar and Sitapur. In Delhi, 5 Manipur MLAs who have resigned from the Congress, including Okram Henry Singh, who is the nephew of CLP leader Okram Bobi Singh, joined BJP. A major fire broke out at a substation of Noida Power Company Limited in Noida, and the fire was reported around 8:30 a.m. in a transformer at the power station. Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla discussed various aspects of the bilateral relationship with Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. In India, the recovery rate has crossed 73%, while the case fatality rate continues to remain low at 1.91%. Over 20 lakh people have now recovered from the virus. 60,091 recoveries were recorded yesterday, taking the cumulative total to 20,37,870. The recovery rate currently stands at 73.64%. Due to the three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat, the fatality rate is continuously dropping. It now stands at 1.91%, with 52,889 deaths recorded so far. With nearly 9 lakh tests being conducted each day, the number of active COVID-19 cases in India stands at 6,76,514, which is 24.45% of the total cases reported so far. Further, according to the Indian Council of Medical Research, total samples tested so far are 3,17,42,782, including 8,01,518 samples tested yesterday. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare said that effective implementation of policy of test, track, treat has ensured active cases in the country to be less than 1/4 of the total COVID-19 cases. High number of recoveries and declining fatality has shown India's graded strategy to work. Market benchmarks ticked higher for the third straight session on Wednesday. The BSE Sensex touched a high of 38,788.51 during the day, but succumbed to profit booking at the fag end of the session. It finally closed at 38,614.79, up 86.47 points or 0.22%. NSE Nifty rose 23.05 points or 0.2% to 11,408.4. The Nifty recorded day's high and low at 11,460.35 and 11,394.1 points. Gold prices fell by 640 rupees to 54,269 rupees per 10 grams in the national capital on Wednesday, following decline in international prices of precious metal, according to HDFC Securities. The yellow metal had closed at 54,909 rupees per 10 grams in previous trade. Silver futures on Wednesday dropped by 1,540 rupees to 67,965 rupees per kg as participants reduced their bets on low demand. The rupee pared its initial gains and settled 6 paise lower at 74.82 against the US dollar on Wednesday, even as the domestic equity market traded in positive territory. Crude oil futures on Wednesday fell by 0.22% to 3,186 rupees per barrel as participants reduced their positions on low demand. On the multi-commodity exchange, crude oil for August delivery fell by 7 rupees or 0.22% to 3,186 rupees per barrel, with a business volume of 1,847 lots. Online travel firm Yatra.com on Wednesday said it has collaborated with Amazon Business to provide its hospitality partners with a wide range of products catering to their needs. Democrats formally nominated Joe Biden for president on Tuesday, vowing his election would repair a pandemic-battered America and put an end to the chaos that has defined Republican President Donald Trump's administration, it said. Democrats explained why they were supporting Biden while putting their own state-specific spin on the proceedings, from a calamari appetizer in Rhode Island to a herd of cattle in Montana. Former US President Bill Clinton slammed President Donald Trump and said he is incapable of doing the job, accusing him of spending hours a day watching TV and playing around in social media instead of combating COVID, as he urged Americans to elect former Vice President Joe Biden in November. Indian origin Senator Kamala Harris will deliver her acceptance speech on Wednesday as the Democratic vice presidential candidate to become the first ever American of Indian and African descent to be nominated by a major party for the top post. Colombia resumed domestic flights on Tuesday after a hiatus of around 5 months as the South American country relaxes restrictions aimed at curbing the spread of the new coronavirus. The international Jose Maria Cordova Airport reopened for flights. Colombia's president was present for a reopening ceremony and greeted passengers arriving on a commercial flight. In South Jakarta, a coffin with the words COVID-19 victim coffin painted in red has been prominently placed at a busy traffic junction, serving as a solemn reminder to residents of the dangers of coronavirus. The Jakarta government plans to continue rolling out the scheme in different parts of the city until the end of the pandemic. Flames are ravaging Brazil's Pantanal, the world's largest wetland, approaching the region's main highway and threatening endangered species amid a near-record number of fires. The Pantanal is 10 times the size of the Everglades wetlands in the US state of Florida. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe returned to his office on Wednesday, saying he was ready to work 2 days after undergoing a medical checkup at a Tokyo hospital. A magnitude 6.8 earthquake struck off Indonesia's Sumatra Island on Wednesday, with strong tremors felt in the area. There was no risk of a tsunami and there were no immediate reports of casualties or damage. A Japanese disaster relief expert team is sent to help clean up a massive oil spill off the coast of Mauritius said on Tuesday that there is almost no oil floating at sea, but concerns remain about the spill's impact on the island nation's environment. Over 2.23 crore coronavirus cases have been registered globally, with more than 7.84 lakh deaths related to COVID-19. As many as 1.5 crore people have recovered from the virus so far. COVID-19 cases have been shooting up in the US, making it the worst hit by the pandemic for several weeks now. The US has over 56.55 lakh cases of the virus, with the death toll past 1.75 lakh. The US is followed by Brazil, which has recorded more than 1.1 lakh deaths and over 34.11 lakh cases. US and Brazil are followed by Mexico, with the death toll surging past 57,774. The World Health Organization has urged wealthier nations to join the COVAX Global Vaccines Facility for sharing vaccine hopefuls with developing countries. Tedros said he has sent a letter to the WHO's 194 member states urging participation. The World Health Organization also raised concerns that the pandemic's spread was being driven now by younger people, many of whom were unaware that they were infected, posing a danger to vulnerable groups. A fresh outbreak of infections in Australia's coronavirus hot zone of Victoria eased further on Wednesday, while the country agreed to a deal to secure a potential COVID-19 vaccine that it plans to roll out cost-free to citizens. Australia has signed a deal with British drug maker to produce and distribute enough doses of a potential coronavirus vaccine for its population of 25 million. Pope Francis said rich countries should not hoard a vaccine for COVID-19 during his general audience on Wednesday at the Vatican. Pope said it would be sad if the rich are given priority for the COVID-19 vaccine. Despite 36 pages of safety guidelines, new on-set health officers and lots of creative thinking, Hollywood is finding it difficult to get cameras rolling again during a pandemic. Only a fraction of movie and TV productions have resumed filming in Los Angeles. The Belarusian opposition leader has called on European leaders not to recognize fraudulent elections that extended the rule of authoritarian President Alexander Lukashenko and sparked unprecedented mass protests in the country. Opposition leader Sviatlana called on Europe to support the awakening of Belarus. Mali's military staged a coup and detained country's president, prime minister and top officials on Tuesday after weeks of unrest. President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita went on state television around midnight and said he was resigning and dissolving parliament. President Keita and his prime minister Boubou Cissé had been detained along with other government officials earlier on Tuesday. Mutiny and arrests in Mali have sparked international condemnation. Countries in West Africa, along with France, the European Union and the African Union, denounced the actions of soldiers and warned against any unconstitutional change of power. The Economic Community of a West African state had decided to close their borders with Mali, suspend all financial flows to the country and eject Mali from all of ECOWAS's decision-making bodies. France will make face masks compulsory in most workplaces as it grapples with a resurgence in coronavirus cases. The new rule is likely to apply to all shared spaces in offices and factories where there is more than one employee present. Colombian craftivist Edgar Alvarez is making a statement in Bogota using his plastic artwork to raise awareness on those suffering during the pandemic and the situation of millions of Venezuelan migrants that have sought a new life abroad. Alvarez's coronavirus caricature can be spotted in nooks of the Colombian capital, not far from where citizens etch out life in street stalls as a way to make ends meet. The Winter Games, New Zealand reinvented itself for 2020, making this year's event an all-local affair and obsidian event as the world continues to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. The event has a 10-day weather window from August 10 to 20 at various alpine resorts across New Zealand's southern Alps. A lack of role models drove Kharjao Sambe to learn to surf and become Senegal's first female professional surfer. The Olympic hopeful is now inspiring a generation of young girls to defy cultural norms and hone their skills in the Atlantic waves of the capital, Dhaka. India's opening batsman Rohit Sharma was recommended for this year's Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award, the country's highest sporting honour, by a 12-member selection committee of the Sports Ministry. Rohit has been recognized for his accomplishments with the bat. Wrestler Vinesh Fogart and table tennis star Manika Batra are also recommended for the Khel Ratna Award by the Sports Awards Committee. Indian women's hockey team skipper Rani Rampal has also been recommended for the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award. Rampal was a late addition to the initial list of 4. Para-athlete Mariyappan Thangavelu has also been recommended for the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award on Tuesday. The 25-year-old para-athlete hailing from Salem caught everyone's attention when he won the high jump gold at the 2016 Rio Paralympics. Indian pacer Ishant Sharma is among the 29 athletes who have been recommended for the Arjuna Award. The 31-year-old Ishant has played 97 tests and 80 ODIs for India, taking over 400 international wickets. In the latest ICC Test player rankings, Virat Kohli remained at the second position in the batting chart, which has 2 more Indians in the top 10. Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane continue to remain static at the 8th and 10th positions in the batting list. Australia's Steve Smith tops the rankings list. Jasprit Bumrah slipped 1 place to the 9th position in the Test bowlers rankings, while Ravindra Jadeja was steady at the 3rd spot in the all-rounders list. England named their 14-member squad for the upcoming 3-match T20 international series against Pakistan. Series gets underway on Friday, 28th of August at Emirates Old Trafford in Manchester. The 3-match series will be played behind closed doors in a biosecure environment at the Manchester venue. Formerly top-ranked fast bowlers Stuart Broad and James Anderson of England have advanced in the ICC Test player rankings after some fine bowling in the drawn second test against Pakistan in Southampton. Broad has moved up 1 slot to 2nd position in the bowlers list, while Anderson has moved up 2 slots to 14th. India opening batsman KL Rahul said that he was shocked and heartbroken on Dhoni's decision to retire from international cricket without allowing them a proper chance to give him a big farewell. Australian captain Aaron Finch acknowledged that staying in bio bubbles for extended periods could be really tough. Finch said that the mental health of players will be monitored closely during the upcoming limited overs England tour. Bayern Munich will be up against Lyon in Lisbon with a place in the UEFA Champions final up for grabs. German champions Bayern thrashed Barcelona 8-2 to book a place in the semi-finals, while Lyon stunned Manchester City with a 3-1 win. The winners of this tie will face Paris Saint-Germain in Saturday's final. Paris Saint-Germain are one win away from Champions League glory after claiming an emphatic 3-0 win over RB Leipzig in the semi-final in Lisbon. PSG finally seized their opportunity courtesy of goals from Marquinhos, Angel Di Maria and Juan Bernat. This was PSG's 110th game in the European Cup or Champions League, the most played by a side before reaching their first final. PSG fans took to the streets of Paris celebrating the victory of their team. Supporters linked arms and chanted in close-knit groups, though few in the crowd wore face masks despite a recent uptick in COVID-19 infections in France. Ronald Koeman will be the new manager of Barcelona. The 57-year-old, who is currently in charge of the Netherlands, is set to join the La Liga runners-up this week. Barcelona ended a contract with former player Eric Abidal, who as a sports director clashed with Lionel Messi this year. Abidal, a double Champions League winner as a Barca player, had been in the role for over 2 years, but has been let go after one of the club's worst seasons in recent memory. Barcelona president Josep Maria Bartomeu says club's captain Lionel Messi wants to end his career at the Catalan Giants and will be the pillar of Ronald Koeman's project. Bartomeu claims that the Argentine superstar is untouchable and non-transferable. World number 1 John Ram admits he may not play on the European Tour against this year because of the coronavirus pandemic. Ram had been due to defend 3 European Tour titles this season, including the season-ending DP World Tour Championship in December, although the global travel situation has left the Spaniard unsure about his plans. A non-player has tested positive for COVID-19 within the controlled environment that will host this year's Western and Southern Open and US Open in New York over the next month. The individual is asymptomatic and has been advised that they must isolate for at least 10 days. 4-time Tour de France champion Chris Froome and 2018 winner Geraint Thomas have been omitted from the Ineos Grenadiers squad for the 2020 edition. And with that, we come to the close of this edition of Express News. News and updates will continue on DD News and DD India.